All right, all right, all right. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Dave and Juan More Time podcast. And we all like more time. More time for grilling, more time to stare at the dashboard of my Lincoln. Y'all sit back and enjoy these two hombres. This is Dave and Juan.
And 3, 2, 1, back at him.
Man.
What's up?
And we got the technical stuff. See, the off-camera stuff that people don't see.
They don't see
There
it.
were no glitches or anything before. It's like we jumped straight into this.
Everything worked, which means we're doomed. It's famous doomed. Yeah, just jump right into it. I'm Dave.
And I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah,
We're getting smoother.
yeah.
Now, we're talking off, off, you can't say off camera. It's not so ridiculous. We were
doing
talking.
show prep.
Show prep. If people knew. If people knew show prep. We always have these.
Logged onto this thing 2.5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
man.
we have lists. Yeah, texts go back and forth, and we typically have lists to talk about, and after we ramble forever, realize, oh man, we didn't get to that. But that's just the fun of chatting.
Yeah.
Now we are, if not contractually obligated, kind of obligated, since something happened since last we recorded, and as it's what you gonna do, man?
It's the heartbreaking. If you're from Louisiana, you've had a week of mourning.
Drew Brees.
Hey, the man, number 9.
That's it, Drew Brees.
Breezes.
Drew Brees. Alex, that was always funny. First times my son saw him play, and one of them asked, why does everybody just say Drew Brees? Why did they never say, Drew? It's like, that's just his name became one name, Drew Brees. Drew Brees. Oh, he's a close personal friend of yours, as I understand, right?
Well, look, I brought props, man. Look, check this out. Can you see that?
Oh man, look at you.
Autographed Drew Brees shoe on turf.
Turf.
Yeah.
All right. What was that from?
I can't.
Yeah.
It's
That's right.
It's mine, but
somebody left. I got you.
Somebody left it somewhere or in my possession.
I got you. Now you actually met with Drew a few years ago, right?
A few times. I've had chance to work with him, actually work with him. I've written a couple of commercials, and I don't want to say directed him because he doesn't take direction. He does his own thing. But so I got to work with him on that. So that was like, cool. Right. But even before that, which was almost one of these accidental misunderstanding type things, back I think in 2012, Drew was starting a shirt business, like a t-shirt, apparel business. Yeah. And as luck would come about, I had just started. I've got this little side gig. I sell Cajun themed t-shirts. And the person who was helping me get that off the ground had some connections with some of the Saints and sent me a note saying, hey, they've got this meeting coming up. You want to send your resume and see if you're interested? They were looking for a director. It was a hush meeting. You couldn't announce it to anybody. And so I'm sitting there, sure. And I go into the meeting and there's 30 people there, then, from around the country and around the world. And somehow or another, I'm instantly realized I'm not supposed to be in this meeting. I don't know what they misread, but you've got guys who've done marketing for Levi Strauss and national or international clothing companies. And here I am introducing myself to Drew. Yeah, I have a Cajun t-shirt business.
That's right. Bro. I'm your man.
Yeah, but, I didn't get a call back or anything.
Well, you said it was hush-hush, but I'm pretty sure you had texted me before that happened, so you weren't too
hush-hush with real people, not with me.
Oh, gotcha. You couldn't tell. We were joking before about people in the Bayou and what we like and don't like, and like Drew Brees is set, everybody loves him forever.
Mhm.
And there's a guy that is hated in South Louisiana. The most hated person in South Louisiana is Roger Goodell. Okay, I think we can agree. We can agree on that. Like that guy. I mean, I think they still have in New Orleans, like a clown. The paint.
The T-shirts, and
and it's on a wall somewhere, a couple of
Yeah.
murals, right? So it's good. So Goodell takes first place for the most hated person in South Louisiana, at least around sports fans. But a close second is Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not vouching for the guy, but I have always had an issue with the people that just hate Saban, and I step back and say, okay, first of all, from Louisiana, he came in, he won a championship, so
Turned the program around.
So the program had been big before, but he turned it around when he got there. So so there are a lot of jerks out there. Not all jerks win you a championship. So he did win LSU a championship. But then, if not for Nick Saban, Drew Brees does not end up in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Right? Nick Saban's incompetence when he got to Miami, and because Drew Brees, they can say what they want. I read the book. You read the book. I know Brees' first choice was Miami. Yeah. And Nick Saban uses the excuses of, well, the doctors all said he couldn't pass a physical, blah, blah, blah. But you do a little more reading and the folks around Miami said, no, doctors don't make that call. Nick Saban made that call. They went with Dante Culpepper and whatever. And Drew Brees ends up in New Orleans. Because of that. And that's how life works out sometimes, right? Your first choice, I guarantee you, when he went down there, he didn't take the visit not to take it. Drew Brees wanted to be in Miami. Yeah. It didn't happen. And then the best thing that ever happened to him was that. And that happens a lot. And, the third thing, which is a little stretched out, is LSU's big miracle season 2 seasons ago. Just how could it be more perfect? 15-0, best team. You can argue best team ever, best record. Ed Ogeron. I mean, South Lafourche Tarpons represent. That is just such a perfect year. That never happens.
Yeah.
If Saban doesn't leave. So instead of
Saban he's basically 2 or 3 of his decisions have been some of the biggest things in Louisiana football history.
Stop hating on the guy and build a statue in his honor, man.
I met Coach O, formally, if you will, a few years ago, and it's probably his second year with the team. And it was some event I was actually working. And if you remember when he got the job, and he talked about that, the athletic director called him really early in the morning, told him to come on in for a meeting. And he said he just rolled down the windows on his car and had his stereo blaring. So I said, hey, I just got to ask you about that. Were you listening to Halifax? And his face lit up. It's like, oh, man, you know them? You know them? I said, bro, I'm from the Bayou, man. Yeah, I know them. You know them? And he starts naming all of them and stuff. I said, yeah, I'm from the Bayou, man. How do I not know them? And he's talking about the Greenhouse. Wasn't that club?
Well, yeah, it was. But before the Greenhouse was the Lights Fantastic.
All right.
Or as it went in our world, the Lights.
The Lights.
Coach O's a big Halifax fan.
Oh.
On that, so when you brought up Halifax earlier, like in the text saying, talk about the Coach O Halifax story, and I started thinking about, well, okay, bands trying to make it, and then a pet peeve I've had for a long time came to mind, and that is the band that I think in the past 30, 40 years, the best, most talented band that never did or never made it like they deserve to. And I don't know who their manager was, and I'm just speculating, but that guy needs, that's the award for the worst manager in the history of managing. Zebra.
Yeah.
Zebra. Who was better than Zebra? And people in Louisiana are amen, hallelujah. They get it. And people outside may not, but that first album, 1983, when they released the Zebra, to this day, put that album on, and you're like, And they at one time they were literally as big as Bon Jovi, because Bon Jovi wasn't very big, right? But I remember when they were about the same, the same star power. But Bon Jovi got on the road and toured. They took any gig they could. They right, didn't need to be the headliner. They just got on the road and got exposure, because in those days is what you had to do. And the story I always heard was that pretty early on, Zebra decided that they wanted to be, they were the headliners. They were going to be the headliners, and it's just not. That was not a recipe for success back then. But it just blows my mind.
Well, it's another total Bayou story. I think the movie was like a documentary or a movie or music movie on Led Zeppelin. It might have been The Song Remains the Same. I don't know. But we were at the little movie theater in Thibodeau one night seeing it. And there was a guy in theater that the entire movie would scream, "Zebra! Zebra!" over and over again.
You talked about club band. Now, I don't think I had a favorite club band in college, just whoever's there. But you were into some folks.
Man, I got another prop.
The props.
My dad, when I went to his house the other day, he pulled this out the closet and said, "I think this is yours." So, Panic at the Colonel's Retreat. So
Panic at the Colonel. Oh, wow. Yeah. There you go.
So Panic, and they were from South or North Carolina.
Not to be confused with Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the Disco. This is before Panic at the Disco.
I think those guys. I think you might have a copyright infringement.
They would have. But so I'd see them a lot. Some of the local bands, some of the non-local bands, the Producers. I still see the Producers every few years. They'll play here.
They're right behind. So they may be not far behind Zebra for like what happened. Like, and again, to this day, you go and slap on Sheila, slap on What's He Got, slap on that era. I mean, those guys were great.
True story, and they still are. I mean, the very tight, still sound great. A friend of mine here was their road manager in post MTV days for them, and he said that the big thing that happened was early days of the Producers was when payola in radio was a big thing. Okay, and they were paying, or whoever the management company was paying to get them on. And then they got the big New Year's MTV gig. The management company thought, all right, we don't need to pay anymore. And so
I missed that era. We never got paid jack.
No.
We didn't get paid jack. I would have played anything. I'm trying to think about what's the only graph. It wasn't even graph. Every now and then they'd send you like a gold record or something. Yeah. Well, I've got one from Terrence Trent Darby.
Oh,
wishing him well.
Terrence Trent.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
I didn't. I never even hung it up. I'm just like, that's nice. But we had some. One of them I remember it was interesting, and I felt bad for one of the people there. So it was the tour was Cheap Trick and John Waite. And look, John Waite is the real deal. He if you go back with the Babies and he was good. I mean, he's still out there and sing, but it's just he was, I think he's doing like 80s cruises now is what they sort of do. But
because he was in he did solo, then he did Bad English with some of the guys from Journey.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. So John Waite, legit, but and that tour, apparently, they would flip-flop. It's one of those tours where Cheap Trick will be the opening act one night and John Waite will be the opening act. Well, they didn't really know what they were doing when they got to Nichols, right? When they get to South Louisiana, because it was in the gym, right? Because that was the biggest building they had. The stage set up, and I don't know how many people they put in there, but it was packed. It was, I don't know, the 1,500 maybe, or it's hard to estimate, but so. Yeah, man, John Waite is great. but bruh, it's Cheap Trick. And that's what, and so Cheap Trick comes out, and Cheap Trick has always been great. I'm glad they finally made the Hall of Fame, but they opened up, and I don't know if everybody from South Lafourche was in that gym, but dude, I guarantee you there were more people in that gym than showed up at our high school reunions later, man. I mean, it was crazy. And everybody was there to see Cheap Trick. And then they were good and they were great. They rocked and they left. And by the time John Waite got through his second song, that gym was half empty.
Yeah.
By the time it got to it, and I'm just hanging around, and I'd even forgotten at the time he did a couple baby songs. And I'm like, oh yeah. And we're just waiting for Missing You, right? That was the huge, again, it's one of these songs that people, you may or may not know, but it was a massive, massive hit. And by the time I don't even know if I listened to the end of it. I think I was so ready to go that he started and I went, okay, yes, I am missing you. I don't think I heard the last.
Yeah, he didn't miss you.
Trying to get younger people, and the older you get, everybody else is younger people. I understand that, but like my kids, to understand how big certain things were back in the day, because they don't get it. You say like this was huge, and they're like, well, I don't get it. And I'm wearing, I was kidding because it was a kind of a chilly day today. I got a overcoat, but underneath I'm wearing an Evel Knievel shirt. That bad boy right here, Evel Knievel.
Loved me some Evel.
Everybody loved Evel Knievel. Yeah. Toxic masculinity right there, man. And it's hard to get your kids to grasp it. No, this dude he just jumped stuff in a motorcycle. And man, that was
I still remember Wide World of Sports. And I would check in the TV guide every week just to see if Evel happened to be on it. Because in one of the intros, it was Frank Gifford doing the voiceover, and it's, he is down and he is hurt. Oh my God.
Oh, jeez. We all saw it, man. It was like, but he was, and I've seen more than one documentary on him, and it was just, he was an interesting guy. He had a lot of demons, as you could figure, a guy that did what he did. Yeah. But was there anything bigger, huger, or a bigger flop than jumping the Snake River Canyon?
Yeah. I did.
I blocked out my week. I think I blocked out my week. I think it was Snake River Canyon week. I don't know how old I was, but oh my gosh.
I did did y'all have the social studies fair at your school?
Did we have the social studies fair? Dude.
I did my project on the Snake River Canyon jump. And I made, out of a big round dowel rod, I guess, I made the rocket. I bet any money it's in the closet at my dad's house.
Oh, dude, you gotta, that's a show and tell next time you're there.
But my younger brother had the little stunt cycle toy,
that's how
which
big.
was the coolest toy ever.
I think you can get them now. I think that's how big this guy was. Kids were doing social study projects on this cat. And some of the stuff he did was amazing. The looking back now, jumping stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But Snake River Canyon, I can remember. And right before it happened, when I saw the details before, I was thinking, well, he ain't doing nothing. He's like,
riding.
He's like the monkey they shot into space. Yeah, that monkey wasn't steering anything either. Yeah. Evil was just strapped in, and then the parachute came out before it even.
Right, it left the ramp.
So this was just recently, a few weeks ago. Relatives, my wife's sister and husband, kids were over, and we were just talking afterwards. And the older daughter, well, she's in college too as well, but last year was working at a restaurant just down from here, maybe 20 minutes from my house. An old. It's been around for a long time. It's a place called the Swinging Door, I think. And it's just, again, it's one of these places, been there forever, and it's in, right. And she did all kinds of work in the kitchen, but she also would every now and then would wait tables. And she was talking about, she's walking around and these guys that would come in, a couple of guys come in regularly, and they were really nice. She said they were very friendly, and she said they were kind of old. for the hair, because they kind of had the hair, and then she said, and they had these weird beards. As soon as she said that, I was like,
I know where you're going.
Please tell me this story is not going where I think it's going. And then she goes off to do something, and talking to somebody, and there's like, that's ZZ Top. That's so more than once she had, waited tables for the guys from ZZ Top. They're very friendly, very nice, but
they're from the Houston area, right?
Yeah, one of them lives here. Like they, and I think two of them, all three may live around Houston. But one lives right, like here, like not far from here. And yeah, it's just like, oh wow. I would have thought, okay, that's pretty iconic. I mean, whether or not just
she didn't recognize him, you'd have thought at least someone in the restaurant.
Maybe that's why they hang. Maybe that's why they hang there. It's probably one of those things you go to where people just leave you alone, and then
it's just this little old band from Texas.
Little old band, three people, best, competition for the best three person group with Rush, right?
Yeah, got to be. I've never been a Rush fan, so.
Oh, dude, in the podcast, that's you just lost. That's like me. That's like me standing up for Nick Saban, man. You're gonna be really, yeah. Rush is true Rush story, and again, I shouldn't say true, but this is so I'm a fan of Rush. I appreciate them, and I'm not as a fanatic as some of my friends. So one of our best friends is that's he doesn't. I don't think he has any tattoos. If he ever got one, it may well be Rush. Okay, he loves
21.
Oh, whatever. 2112, I think it is, right?
Yeah, you're right.
You really don't like Rush.
Yeah.
So for his birthday, they were playing up at the place called Cynthia Woods Pavilion. It's in the Woodlands, about an hour from here. Super nice venue. And Rush sells that puppy out. I mean, it's just so we got tickets. And for his birthday. So that was sort of our present. We're going to go up there. We'll bring you, and traffic is horrendous. And so we're kind of slow getting there. To this day, we have a debate of whose fault that was. It was my wife's fault, but it's just not so much as being running late as much as when to park, right? I knew a cheat where to park. I was going to pull into a mall, right? Not far away. Park in the mall, and it's not a very long ride, and my wife was just adamant, because she's a rule follower, and good for her, but we were not going to park illegally. How is it illegal? I'll run in and get something in the mall if you want me to. I will literally go. That's my thinking. Like, if you really have a problem with it, I will run in now and buy something to justify parking here, but she didn't want it. So realized while it's getting close. So I decided to drop him off, him and his wife. There, you guys go catch the beginning of the kids. Because look, I probably only want to see the encore, right? I want to see Limelight. That's all I want to see. Yeah. It's going to be a long show. I just want to see Limelight, and I'm good. Well, dude, I had to park about a mile.
Wow.
Away. It was. I'm thinking, warm up act. Rush didn't have a warm up act. Rush decides we're not going to have a warm-up act this tour. You know what else Rush decided? What are they opening with?
Limelight.
I get a call from my friend and he's just like, dude, you won't believe this. And I'm walking at the time, like almost running with about 50 other people, because we're parked forever away. And we're just moving.
Who thought there was an opening act?
Dude. Well, it was one of these things. Traffic was terrible. We got stuck. And as I'm talking to him, cursing, saying, are you kidding me? And somebody goes, what's going on? Rush is on right now. And they open with Limelight. Dude, it was hysterical. Like 50 people, collective groan. What? So, man, we were ready to loot a store by the time we got to the end. Yeah. So
we had again, elementary school, like it's junior high years. I was in 8th grade, where our punishment was you would become the janitor's helper. And we were like the maintenance. Yeah, so you can go do labor with the janitor, or basically help him out. And I promise you,
I bet that was
remember-
fun.
Oh yeah, I remember one day we had to go somewhere to pick up some tables for some event that they were having at school. So, 3 or 4 of us are in the back of the guy's truck, driving down the highway. When we put the tables in, they stacked them on the side and they were too long to close the tailgate. So, of course, we sat on the tailgate to hold the tables. Well, one of the tables started to slide. And the guy holding the table was still trying to hold it. And I don't know if you've ever jumped out the back of a moving truck or fell out.
Not recently.
But basically, you jump and you turn, and your body momentum just makes you run at the speed of the truck is going. And it's like the longest, or what seems like slow motion, but you just see the guy running. And I'm talking about middle of Highway 1 through Pankerville. And he's running and running, and the way he just can't hold anymore. And then just, plants right there on the asphalt. So there you go. Maintenance crew punishment.
Well, it was fun up to that point. Was he hurt? Was he hurt, or was he like a kid? You pop up and go.
We laughed at him. I don't know.
Between the ages of, I don't know, like whatever, 4th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, more funerals. I mean,
dude, that was the deal, to get a funeral as an altar boy, because it was during the day and the week.
Dude, it was, I cannot tell you. And I got good at it. I mean, I got to the point of I knew my thing was always, if the priest,
given the sermon,
if the priest passes out, I got this. I'm sorry that, as a kid, take care of father. I know this blessing. I got this. Where's and you just learn. And I actually got good at it. You have to really, because a kid, you have to understand it's a funeral, man.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with, you have to understand, you can't, no cutting up, no, you learn and you're stepping into some of the, it's some rough times, but I can remember thinking about that. Like, it even dawned on me around 5th grade, 6th grade. I don't know if this is healthy for me to be. and it was, but yes, different times. The priest would drive to school, pick you up. You go do the funeral, and then most of the time, it was around lunchtime, and you'd miss lunch at school. Right. So you'd go back to the rectory. And that's when I realized back in those days, man, the priests lived pretty good because they had cooks. So we'd have a nice lunch, and they always had ice cream. I can still remember that to this day. I was like so amazed that, we had ice cream dessert for lunch.
The best funerals for us, and it seems sad to say it that way, but true.
It actually does seem sad.
The church was right by the school. Again, went to a Catholic school. And if the burial was out of town, and by out of town, I mean, Belrose, Plottonville, or Napoleonville, 6 or 7 miles from Pankerville, especially Napoleonville, though, because we would ride with the priest to do the burial. And he had these old lady friends, these 2 old maid friends who lived right near the graveyard in Napoleonville. So after that, we'd go over there and we'd each have a Coke, and he'd sit down and have a Falstaff with the ladies. Safety first.
South Louisiana, especially Bayou things that I miss, but you don't really miss too much anymore because Facebook and talking to folks back home. But it's it's the price of crawfish season. Right? That's always a trigger for people. Man, you saw how much crawfish cost this season? Seeming about the same.
I never remember how much it cost last season.
I got no idea. Idea. That they're always like, oh, sure, man, they're expensive. Yeah, they're expensive, and they're small. They're good, but they're small.
When they get big, they're big, but they're hard, man. You can't peel it at all, bro. It's like the shell's black.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and through the years, so moving, we live different places, and of course, living here in the Houston area, it's no big deal because half everybody here is from Louisiana, so crawfish is huge here in Houston as well. When I was
and I'm sure you can get fresh crawfish brought in every day from Louisiana.
Well, they do. People do, and they've got sense. A lot of folks around the Lafayette area and stuff, they'll load up and they come because they know they move them. Yeah, I mean, people, it's big around here, but. around the country when I travel. And that's one of the things people, when they find out where you're from, and it was, I can't tell you how many times, you eat those mud bugs? And I'm like, well, we don't call them mud bugs, but I understand. We also don't call them crayfish. I get that. Right. It's crawfish. And people like, I tried them. I just don't. I'm like, you didn't have them right. And that's the thing too. For the most part, most restaurants just don't get it. They just, just, especially any kind of they're not terrible, but they're just, as a general rule, if you're judging your one experience, if you're on with crawfish or mud bugs, put it this way: if you're in any place where they are selling them as mud bugs, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah,
right. That's not what they are. But yeah, people are amazed. You can't believe y'all eat that. It's like, it's a little lobster, man. Heck, you eat a chicken. You ever been around a chicken? Whenever somebody wants
to don't have a gizzard bag in it.
Man, listen, chicken. Talk about chicken. And I don't think it's a Bayou thing as much as it's just a country thing or something. But I would say that. Remember, I have an uncle. Rest his soul. He was such a cool guy. He was married to my nanny, my godmother, and he was just great. He was, his country. He was a cook for offshore 7 and 7 on. And look, if you are a cook on a rig, you better be good.
Yeah, I've never been on a rig, but those guys eat good, and
they better, right? I mean, that's like you don't keep that job, because there are a few things that they can do to keep those guys happy out there. And Eaton Well's one of them. He was great, but in his own house, he had a garden, cows, chickens, and it wouldn't be anything to be over at their house mid-afternoon. Hey, y'all gonna stay to eat? You hungry? Y'all need to stay eat. Let's see what you feel like. How about some fried chicken? Want me to fry you some chickens? Dude, if you said, oh yeah, that's good, that was bad news for chickens in the yard, man. It wasn't like I'm walking over to the refrigerator to get my chicken from
thawed chicken
from Frank's that you bagged for me. No. That was, hey man, angel of death is going out in the yard. There was some necks about to get wrung back there, but you be eating a chicken that was never even refrigerated.
I've never witnessed that.
Oh, dude, it's not fun. Okay, it's that time of the week where professionals like us push the button, see if it's stuck to tape. Right?
Cross the fingers.
Yeah, see if it's there. And so we thank you for hanging out with us again this week. I'm going to remind you.
It's always fun.
That's it. If you want to reach out to us, please do. It's Dave and Juan at protonmail.com. We love to hear from you. Love to hear the comments, stories. Share if you got any couillons you want us to call off. We will get back to doing couillons of the week.
Yeah, I got a couple in the can.
Yeah, we talked about doing it. We didn't want to put the pressure to do one every week. And then somebody else said, where's the couillon? So we will get back to doing couillons of the week as well. And and other things coming. We talked about the shirts and the website, and that's all.
Yeah.
We're still figuring out which way is up and having fun with this, and we're glad you're
each episode is on YouTube, so check out the YouTube channel where you saw this.
Subscribe to the page, I think. Yeah.
Subscribe to the page, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Facebook. Hang out with us.
That's right. And again, we appreciate your time, and look forward to seeing you again next Monday. Until then, have a great week, everybody. Love you, man. Peace.
Back at you.